And welcome back to the first press conference of the Outdoor Series. My name is Taryn Robinson, and I will be walking us through the conference today. We are sitting here with our 250 podium champions. We have Tom Viel, Hayden Deegan, and Joe Shimoda. Hayden, you've had such a strong start to the season, and with this being your third consecutive race here at Fox Raceway, being on your hometown turf as well, how does this season's experience compare for the start, and what adjustments did you make moving forward?
Yeah, I just kind of came in with the same goal as last season, go 1-1 at the first round and set the standard, and that just kind of gave me some confidence too. That first race in general, you're always like, kind of like, where will I stand? So obviously I knew I was going to come out and be pretty good, but once you win, it kind of sets the bar, and yeah, now first round's done.
Absolutely. Well, we're proud of you, and it was great to watch and witness.
Right.
And Tom, great job on your hole shot today as well in the second moto. Can you take us through that experience, walk us through kind of how that went over for you and what you did differently to get out front?
Yeah, I had a great start in the second moto. I actually had a bad one in the first moto. I was pretty far back, and I had pretty much to come back the whole moto, pass a lot of guys, and the track was pretty tricky. It's not, I'd say it's not my favorite of the year, so it's nice to be on the podium. Obviously not where I want to be in third, but it's nice to start the season on the podium.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate the insight. And Joe, also congratulations on the podium today. You've looked more and more comfortable on the Honda as each day and each season has progressed, and we just want to know a little bit more about how that went over for you today and how you suited up the bike to be more prepared for the race.
Well, for me, it was like a roller coaster day. First qualify, I crashed on the second turn, and someone landed on my bike, and my handlebar was gone. So started out like super rough, but no, ended pretty good to me. I think we have to make a lot of improvements still like lacking on a lot of speed. So, yeah, I think we have more in us.
Awesome. Well, these are our podium champions today for the 250 class. We're now going to be directing some questions from our media and audience as well.
Hey guys, Michael Antonovich with Course Heading. We'll go with you, Hayden. Two very good motos. Let them, controlled them the way that you could. But after watching you ride so much lately, was that backing it down a little bit to manage the gap, not trying to blow it out 12, 15, 30 seconds? Was it just to suss out the day?
Yeah, I mean, it's the first round. We got 22 motos. It's cool to get a 20-second gap, but, save that once you have a championship wrapped up. So, yeah, go out there, kind of get into a lead, and just pace second place pretty much is what I did. Rode my race, and, yeah, you don't want to override it because we got 11 rounds or whatever, so I ain't going to do that.
Joe, this one's for you, mate. You looked really, really good out there today. Do you think that there's something in your style in particular that when it gets rough and gnarly like this outdoors that you're able to be smoother than maybe some of the other guys in the top 10, and that's why you kind of consistently can find yourself rolling really well towards the end of these long motos?
I don't know, to be honest. Yeah, I do ride better when the track is rough, a little more technical. I think I would say I'm a little more on like a creative side. So when we have a hot, rough day, I think that suits me better. I would say, yeah.
Does Parla kind of lend itself to those conditions, or like to that riding style? Because it was very rough out there, and I think we saw Jet in the 450s like kind of almost won at the end of that moto with some creative lines. Was it kind of the same for you?
Yeah, it's you can be creative here, but I mean, not to disrespect the track, but I think the track is a little bit sketchy with the rocks and some holes. Sometimes it's unpredictable, where sometimes like when you get in the rut and it has a massive hole in it, and that's Pollard. So it is technical track, but like Hayden said, we have to be aware, and that's what I felt today.
Adam from Track Talkers. This one's for Joe also. I want to kind of stick with you for a little bit. Today I saw something a bit different than we've seen in Supercross. Supercross, at the end of the year, you kind of struggled a little bit. You weren't riding like the Joe that we've seen in the past before. Today, I felt like I've seen you looking forward, riding forward. It was a much different Joe. What made you, as a rider, I know too, what made you feel like you could go forward instead of worrying about what was behind you?
Well, the Supercross season was like a lot, you know, like with the broken fingers, and we had to do like software setup for my hand because I couldn't hold on, and just kind of like, and it's a new bike too. Like we tried to chase new thing, and it kind of felt backwards, to be honest. I was riding terribly, and yeah, this weekend we found a setup that we can work with, and like I say, still looking for more and more speed and comfortable ability, but yeah, to me, I think we still have a lot of work.
Congratulations.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports for Tom. Kind of a two-parter. Do you feel this is a part of the extenuation of the momentum that you had at the end of the Supercross season, bringing it into the outdoors? And does this longer season kind of fit into your style a little bit more than the shorter season with Supercross?
No, I mean, I try my best every weekend. Obviously, I want to win. Today it didn't happen. I ended up third. So when I'm behind the gate, and especially that second moto, I had a couple bad line, I would say. The first 3-4 laps, I wasn't riding well, and then I pick up when Aiden passed me. I pick up some line, and then I was a lot better during the middle and the end of the moto. But yeah, it's only the first race, and hopefully I can get better next weekend and the following rounds. And yeah, that's the goal. Being up there, the bike has been a lot better this year. The engine is a lot stronger, so it was nice to have a good start. I think the first moto, the gate dropped super quick. I wasn't even ready when the gate dropped. So second moto was a lot better, and hopefully we can keep those good starts.
Aaron Hansel with Racer X. This one's for Hayden. Hayden, in both motos, you didn't seem like you were in much of a hurry to kind of force anything early. But then, I don't know, maybe 10 or 12 minutes in both motos, it seemed like you really kind of lit the burners and went. Was that a conscious decision? And if so, when are you making that decision and why?
Yeah, I know, like, the first round, everybody wants to be the fastest guy right off the bat, so I know it was kind of everyone going everywhere, and it's just not a risk going down or anything, so just waited a little, let everyone get in their groove, then started making passes, and then got to first. You just don't want to rush at the beginning because you can throw it away pretty quick, especially Fox is super slick, so yeah, just had to wait it out.
Jeff with Whiskey Throttle. This question is for Hayden. As a guy who's put in more laps than probably anybody in the world on this track growing up, what did you think of the new layout and the raceability of the track?
Yeah, it was good. I'm kind of pissed they took away my jump because I want to have something to whip. And jumps are cool when we're racing. We're at a pro level. Let's have some sick jumps, right? So it kind of sucks they took that away. But I mean, Fox is still fun. It's one of the gnarliest tracks on the circuit. It gets hard packed, blue grooves. So it was good though.
Okay, to piggyback off that question, you've ridden here for forever. I can remember watching you be a little 65 kid on the main track with big bikes. What was it like to go through that today? Like coming down the hill knowing, I've done this a million times, I've been here, I know how this goes. And then, dude, I know you've thought about that every time you rode out here. What's it like to lead the Pro National with everybody I know doing it? What's it like to then do it?
Yeah, it's cool. Obviously, growing up here, I mean, I grew up 20 minutes away from here, and I've been riding here since I was like probably 6 years old. So it's definitely cool in general to do it in front of the hometown crowd as well. But yeah, I'm pretty comfortable on this track. I know it like the back of my head. Even though the track layout's different, I know this place right in the back of my head.
Adam from Track Talkers. I wanted to talk a little bit about your bike setup in the second moto. It looked on the stiffer side. It looked like you were kind of struggling to get the bike to stick to the ground. Is that something you were struggling with, something you're going to improve on the next round? And how much better do you think you can get the bike?
Yeah, I'm like in a position where like I want to go so fast I gotta have my bike stiff, and that's what I was doing at the farm. I was going speeds like it was pretty fast. I was like every time I go stiffer and stiffer I can go faster and faster, but it's just harder to hang on. So kind of just depends how in good shape you are to hang on to it. But I was actually like thinking about going even stiffer after this race because all the G outs and stuff. I was like blowing my hands off, but I don't know. We'll figure out the next race. The bike was a little off in that second moto, but I figured it out.
I mean, I got to ask you about it. You're coming in flexing with a pretty nice chain. Where'd you get that thing customized? How much that thing cost you?
Yeah, I got it. The guys in Philly made it. It was like $50,000. So I had to pop out. Everyone's so by the book in this sport. I gotta get outside of it.
Now, one last question for all three of you. For Tom and for Hayden, after clinching both the 250 East and West championships, how has that influenced your outlook on outdoors moving forward? And as far as Joe, with your transition to HRC and with your comfortability on the bike, how has that influenced your perspective as well?
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, it's the same for everyone. Obviously, we only get 1 weekend in between the Supercross and Motocross. I haven't really ride a lot of outdoor because I was really, the last three races of Supercross, we were really tight, fighting for the title. So I kept a lot riding Supercross, and actually rode a lot on the 450 before that, in between the Supercross when I had a weekend off. But I would say I've ride for like 3 weeks, pretty good on the outdoor on the 250, and I should get better. I mean, each one of us, we all get better during the season, riding every week outdoors, so I should get better in the next few weeks.
Thank you, Tom. Hayden?
I don't remember the question. I was too zoned out. Say it again.
How has your experience of clinching the 250 West Championship influenced your perspective on outdoors this year?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I needed that SX title since last year I got second, so I wanted obviously last year tick off all 3, and I was only able to get 2. So I kind of had a chip on my shoulder to get that SX title. So now that we got the SX title, it'd be nice to, carry it over to outdoors.
And Joe?
I want to re-ask the question to you, actually. Yeah.
With your transition to HRC and your comfortability with the bike, how has that influenced your ability to understand outdoors?
So yeah, like I said, it's there's a lot more work that we have to do. There's a part that's still not like riding like myself yet. But team's working really, really hard for me. They're willing to do anything, so which I really appreciate. And yeah, hopefully this summer, we keep making steady improvements and stay consistent. And I think that's the biggest goal for me.
Thank you, Joe. These are our 250 podium winners from this evening: Hayden Deegan, Tom Vial, and Joe Shimoda. We will be moving forward into our 450 winners here soon. And welcome back, race fans, to the post-race press conference here at Fox Raceway in Paula, California. We are now sitting here with our 450 podium winners, Jet Lawrence, Eli Tomac, and Hunter Lawrence. Jet, this first question is for you. First of all, welcome back. It's great to see you again. After undergoing your ACL surgery earlier this year, you've made your remarkable return. And can you just walk us through that recovery process and how it feels to be back racing here today at Fox?
Yeah, it was a long recovery. I found out painkillers suck because everyone's body kind of reacts differently to them. Obviously, I don't take any drugs or anything like that, so it's like when you put something like that in your body kind of freaks out a bit at first, and it was going through the pain in my knee. So it was some ups and downs, but thankfully I had my brother. For the first week, I had my brother not there. Then sadly he got injured. Then he was there, and we spent some weeks there together, thankfully, and we had each other's company, so it made it a little bit funner. But no, it was good. It kind of was good mental building, and just kind of sitting on the couch, it just sucks. I mean, I didn't miss the mud races, I can tell you that, but all the other races where the tracks look fun, I definitely wish I was out there. But to go do that today, I'm super pumped. Obviously, had lots of distractions and stuff that was out of my hands, and it was just good to show up and be able to block that out and just kind of focus on business and take care of it.
Yeah, well, we're happy to have you back. It's great to see you again.
Thank you.
Eli, congratulations on your second overall finish. And overall, you had a very consistent day. It was great to see. It was a lot of changes, a lot of movement happening. And at this point in your career, coming back from such a serious injury like the one you had, how different was your approach to rehab and preparation compared to earlier in your career?
I guess the good thing is I had enough time to be ready for round one. So that was a good thing. Is I wasn't in a rush. Wasn't really having to rush back to anything. I knew, trying to race the last couple Supercross, that was a little bit hopeful. But anyway, stayed focused on Motocross. Kind of knew the timeline, and ended up working out. I felt pretty strong all day. So, especially recovering from an injury. But it was good. I look back on the day. I wish I would have done a couple things different in Moto 1, but always trying to learn, even at this age.
Well, we're happy to see you back as well. And Hunter, same thing goes for you with your injury, coming back and recovering on that process. It's great to see you back on the gate finally, but after that surgery earlier this year on your shoulder, were there any moments during your rehab where you questioned whether or not you would be able to make it back in time for outdoors?
No, everything went pretty well. Like, we had a really good surgery, and sometimes you get lucky and the surgery just goes good and everything just clicks really nicely, and sometimes you don't, and everything went really well. Obviously, rehab with Dr. G, the best in the business. I mean, that really does pay in dividends to have a guy like that in your corner in those situations. So it was good, but not really any doubts if I was, not going to be able to make the outdoors. So it was all good, pretty just normal. I mean, I've had my fair share of injuries, so I'm no stranger to rehab and stuff like that. And obviously going through it with Jet, 2 completely different injuries, but it was good. Kind of a shoulder for him to lean on, and hey, my knee feels like this. I've done 2 ACLs before, and I'm like, yeah, it sucks, but that's normal.
Well, we're happy to see you back as well. We appreciate your insight. We're now going to continue on to some questions from our media and audience.
Thanks, guys. Michael Antonovich with Course Heading. To piggyback on her questions, you guys are all 3 coming back from injuries. So how was it to go through the process of today? Knowing that you go through the nerves, you got to get ready, you got to shake the bike down yesterday, feel how you do today, and then just to have that purpose of a Saturday job. Eli, you mentioned this also in your podium interview. You didn't really worry about your leg injury, but did you other boys have any concern today of I need to get through today to figure out where I'm really at? I haven't stung it yet or whatever.
I think we did enough riding hours during the week that we kind of, I felt pretty kind of okay with my leg. Obviously, any dabbing and that stuff, honestly, it's kind of like PTSD. You don't want to dab it or anything, so you're like, ugh, kind of holding it up. But, no, it's not too bad. After a little bit, you kind of get used to it and know the feeling of everything. So when you come back, obviously the build-up, you're excited to race again. But kind of once the gate drops and you go through the moto and then, all right, you haven't done it in so long, but you just know what you got to do in between because you've done it so many times. So I think it's kind of, you just go into habits again. It's kind of, go do this, got to recover for the next moto, do this, this, and this. So it's not as challenging as you think, just because we go back on muscle memory, really.
This question's for Eli and Jet. You guys are kind of both, in my mind, kind of likened to boxers, right? It's been an anticipated bout to see you and Eli go toe-to-toe outdoors. How was it for you guys, the build-up to coming into today and then actually getting out there and going toe-to-toe? Walk us through that.
Well, I mean, I wish I was there in Moto 1, but in Moto 2, we both had our strong areas on the track. So it was interesting to ride behind Jet. I mean, unfortunately for me, I was behind him the whole time, but it was a good learning experience for me. See his line, see his style. It was good battle for about 30 minutes.
Yeah, even though Eli was behind me, I could definitely hear him. I feel like the exhaust goes forwards on the bike because that thing's so loud compared to mine. But it was cool. It's like Eli said, and especially on this track, there's only so many limited areas where you can push to try and make up a big difference. And in those areas, the rollers going to the back, obviously Eli was taking that outside and his bike works pretty nice on the side knobs, where I was taking the inside, obviously a safer line to protect that. And I mean, for those sections when I could hear him on top of me, I was just going all out, everything to try and defend it and stay in front. And then for the rest, it's kind of following and that stuff. But this track's a very difficult track to try and move around because down the hills you're in a rut kind of thing, and the ruts are pretty long around the turn, so it's most of the time it's one line fast, but it was cool. It was nice because it kind of felt like a chess game, because he had his areas where he'd push and stuff like that, and because we both had areas where we were like, okay, we can definitely not push it here, otherwise we're going to stack it. So it was a really cool race for me. So yeah.
Epic day of racing, boys. I got a ton of questions for all 3 of you, but I'll have to just try and do my best here. Jet, I want to go back to 2004. Not sure if you would remember this weekend in Hangtown, but Ricky Carmichael comes off a knee injury that costs him to miss out on defending his Supercross championship. He comes back at Hangtown, dominant 1-1 performance and then goes on to have a perfect season that year. This kind of feels like shades of that, you know, like it's
Don't jinx me.
the perfect season, I don't even want to go there, but very emotional, I'm sure, after everything that you've been through. After the race, you looked quite emotional. What do these moments mean? Like, there's a lot of race wins that kind of happen along your career, right? But there's a few that happen that carry a lot of weight and a lot of baggage. And to me, it looks like this might be one of those moments for you. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, for sure. You know, I think obviously the mental battle with the knee, it's kind of been, I mean, the only other major injury I had was my thumb, and when you look at that kind of scarring compared to my knee, it ain't nothing, you know. It was only 6 weeks with my thumb, and I could still train and stuff like that, where with the knee, you had to kind of, you sit on the couch for most of the time, it's hard to do anything, and just that mental battle, and then obviously other distractions that's just like, that can take you off your game, but just with all the noise and stuff like that of out of our control and stuff like that, it's just nice to get back to the race and shut it out. And it's kind of like all that emotion that's been built up in the, like, during the trying to get better and trying to get stronger. Am I fit enough? Because you're not with any of the competition. Obviously, I'm with Hunter, and we're fit and strong. We're like, hey, are we that fit and strong? So you don't know until you get to the race. And yeah, I think that one there was just obviously all the emotions that built up over the time of being injured and all the other this nonsense that we're dealing with. And it just kind of was just really good to kind of step on their throats. Well, not their one, sorry, not them. Like, you guys know who.
Hey, what's up, boys? It's Adam from Track Talkers. This one's for Jet and Hunter. At Anaheim Supercross, it looked like you guys were struggling with the bike. We've talked about it multiple times. Here at Paula, I mean, we're talking the complete opposite. The bike looked phenomenal. You guys looked phenomenal all day long. Jet, coming back from this knee injury is absolutely absurd. I had my knee done. It took me 9 months to come back. You going 1-1 and you being on the podium. Is that a testament to you guys like outdoor more? Do you like this track more? Is the 2025 that good? Talk us through how this happened today.
Yeah, obviously, A1 here, we kind of came in a bit behind the 8 ball, but yeah, I think outdoors, I mean, I like outdoors. I think I can speak for Hunter as well. I think we gel on outdoors a lot more just because we've done so much of outdoors when we were younger, and there's so many years of building on and just doing laps. So I think that just kind of helps, and we're still working things out, just like trying to figure out what works. You know, it's such a different frame where we're trying to see what, okay, if we do this, okay, the bike reacts like this, and we're still working at it. But the bike's obviously good enough to win today. It's just we're going to go back, keep trying to be better and better, but the bike's definitely good enough to win on. And we're, I mean, I love being at Honda, and we're going to do everything we can to just make the bike perfect, even though it's really hard to with the motocross. But I know they're going to do everything they can, and same as us.
Yeah, same here. Like, yeah, obviously, when you brought up A1, the start of the season, yeah, we kind of sucked. So nice to start it off better now. Yeah. So it is good. You know, obviously you go through so much like what ifs and scenarios in your head of just like, man, I hope we're close, right? Because like we said, we train with each other and stuff, but there's days where maybe it isn't where, you know, race pace will be, but no, it's good. We got a great team behind us, and like I think safe to say, everyone else out that we raced against today is going to go back and keep working, trying to improve their bike and stuff, and that's what we'll do as well. So just keep working, man.
Awesome. If you could say where the bike was at and where you're at percentage-wise, what would that be?
Percentage-wise, dude, it's tough because it's like, in our minds, a racer's mind, what we think the bike percentage is at and what we're at, it's bigger than what it actually is. We might say it's, oh, gee, the bike's at, you know, 90% or an 85%, right? But you got to keep in mind that we're chasing like half percenters and like 0.2%. Like the margins of gain and loss are so damn small. So it's I'm probably not smart enough to give you an accurate percentage-wise on that, but it's this. You just battling and clawing for every inch and centimeter out there.
Dan Beaver, NBC Sports, for Jet and for Eli. It's taken us a while to get here, and there's a little bit of a break from the beginning of Supercross until now. But really, the two of you have been battling right there together. Eli winning San Diego, you winning today. Is this what you expected, Jet, when you came into it, and Eli when he came in? And what have you been able to learn from one another, if anything, during these intense battles?
Honestly, the biggest thing I can say, it's battling in Supercross is a lot more fun than outdoors because it's not as hot. But I still think like this, having a battle with obviously such a big name in our sport and has accomplished and done sick things, you know. Like I mean, we go back to even come to memory when he smoked everyone and beat him by a minute or something at Hangtown, almost lapped everyone like. And wait, going Helen as well? Sorry, I'm. Yeah, I don't know a lot of history about dirt bikes or like anything, so don't give me any trivia questions. But I remember this, and I remember going, that was scary at first. I'm like, I got to race this guy who's done this. So, but it's just cool, honestly. Like, and to verse him and kind of not pick his brain through the race, but like at San Diego, I got to learn a lot, like in just line choices and not kind of leaving out other lines, you know, like San Diego, if we go back to Supercross, I kind of lost that night because in those switchbacks across the start straight, he started coming in where I was coming out of the turn, like he was going in the middle but had fresh berm at the end. I never would just think that you kind of get locked in on the same area and the same lines. And I think that obviously is just experience and being and knowing what to do. So it's just really cool. I mean, even though in this one I was in front, you still learn a lot of how they dissect anything, the side of the track, where they're going to make their pass and stuff like that, and kind of be able to capitalize. Okay, I can hear him here and hear him there. So it's really cool to race someone like Eli, and it's really sick to race someone who knows so much.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's I think this is like probably our second time we've really battled. I mean, we had a little bit at Donations, but I mean, you have to expect them to be there and both of us to be right there. So, yeah, it's been a joy doing it so far.
Aaron Hansel with Racer X. Eli, I'm curious as to what kind of changes you made between motos. You were better in the second moto, and if it was bike changes, what kind of bike changes?
Yeah, there wasn't much bike changes other than like small clicker stuff, and then just putting myself in that better position, getting the start, getting in the front of the race early on. So nothing special, really, just starting up front. Yep.
Jet, you've got a reputation of being a really smart racer and only going just as fast as you need to go to win. In the media, we often kind of wonder just how fast you can go if you're pushed, and I'm just wondering, was that you all out today?
It's very, very rarely in a whole lap or in motos that you're very rarely going all out, you know, because like especially this track, the track can only take so much traction, so much side no feel like before obviously the tire starts to roll or just with traction, you know, and so you can only go so fast in so many areas. So I can't really put a number of how hard I was pushing at all, because one, I'm bad at numbers, and two, you're so on and off on this track. You know, you push here, then you're really light and just cruising through this area. So it's like it chops and changes. So it's kind of hard to say. I don't know. I'm glad he didn't.
Justin Schuler, Transworld Motocross. For all three of you, now that you have the closure of round one being done and all three of you on the podium, and especially over the last few months, all of you going through what you have at different levels and different reasons, what does Hangtown look like for you guys now that you have such this big confidence boost and, again, that closure of you know that you can get it done? What does now next weekend look for you guys?
I don't know, because right now when I hear Hangtown, like I was talking before, I have just the image of Eli smoking everyone by a minute or something. So I don't know. Right now I'm going to have to go wipe my brain and make sure I get that out of my head and be confident. But No, we're just going to go in again, just like today. You just try and execute your starts, minimize mistakes and stuff like that, and just try and not complicate things as much as they are.
Yeah, I'm not even there yet. I'm thinking about dinner tonight, so we'll worry about Hangtown when we get there.
Yeah, I mean, it's, hey, like the usual guys are fast. So let's go back, try to improve it, watch some things, get better.
Now, this final question of the night will be for all three of you. Piggybacking off of the last question that we had, with coming back from injuries and recovering and taking the season off, would you consider that this future outdoor season would be more of a season where you are racing on your own terms and enjoying the moment, or are you looking to race for another championship?
I think I can answer everyone on this. We only show up to try and win the championship, because otherwise we wouldn't be here if we weren't trying to win. You know, we put our bodies on the line and work our butt off during the week just so we can have a good chance at the championship. So yeah, obviously I think we all race to try and go for that championship. Everyone that's here and even more riders that are on the line, they're all going for the championship and they're all good enough to win a championship. So I think that kind of answers that.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate all three of your insights. Congratulations again to all three of you for your podium finishes tonight. Thank you all for joining us tonight at our post-race conference. We look forward to seeing all of you at Hangtown next weekend for round 19.
There's a we'll critique, but I mean, I honestly, you do great. You want me to take this away? Just take that.